Welcome back once again. Heading into the third week of the Texas legislative session, we're getting a better idea of the budget for the next 2 years and, more importantly, where that money will go. And joining me this afternoon is our political reporter Josh Hinkle to talk about some of the issues at the forefront, and one that could pose a much bigger problem if we don't do something now is water. Josh, what are we facing there?
Well, the state has just released a report that says we need $53 billion in the next 50 years to put into water infrastructure. These are things like salinization, water plants, anything like pipelines, dams, those kind of things that communities that normally couldn't afford it would need to put in. If we don't make that kind of infrastructure improvement, we could be losing millions of jobs and billions of dollars over that time period, especially if we hit a drought. Now, one of the big proposals has been to take money out of the rainy day fund this session to actually allow those communities to borrow money from the state, and that way they could build those infrastructure ideas. And it seems like it's getting a lot of support from the legislature, especially interesting because this is the rainy day fund, and it's usually one of those funds that is highly coveted, and everyone wants to get money out for things like education and health care, but water seems like a realistic possibility.
And again, if we don't do something now, the complications are exponential down the road.
Exactly.
Another development this week are the budget proposals. What are the suggestions there?
Well, it seems like with both the Senate and the House, the budget proposals are still, a little lean. The Senate version is a little bit different from the House version, but they both basically have a lot of the same things. It seems like, some of the education money will be there and some of the health care money will be there, but this is still very, very early in the process. And as we all know from past sessions, the budget process stems throughout the entire session. So, there'll be haggling on numbers up until the end, but, these are the things that will directly affect you. How much money your kid is going to get for education, how much money your family is going to have for health care. So very important items.
Now, we heard at the beginning that there was going to be a surplus. Have they left some of that money on the table, or are they using all of it that they're projecting?
Yeah, they said there's about an $8 billion surplus, so they do have a little bit of extra money to play with, but it just depends on where you fall on the side of the aisle. Republicans are obviously going to be more conservative, want to use less of that money, but Democrats want to pump all that money back into things like education.
All right, Josh, thanks for joining us today. Be sure to catch Josh in our in-session, in-depth broadcast, which airs from 8:30 to 9 on Sunday morning. He'll break down all the happenings at the Capitol. And this week, Josh will have Ag Commissioner Todd Staples as his guest addressing the water issue. Thanks so much, Josh.
Thank you.